presentation today is going to be serving a search warrant, the process for obtaining a search warrant, and what it takes to get a search warrant to be served. First of all, you're going to need probable cause to have a search warrant signed. Probable cause is a set of circumstances that would lead a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed or is about to be committed, or that property is located at a certain location. The Fourth Amendment guarantees that there will be no unreasonable search and seizure of a person. First of all, when it comes to the search warrant, you need to be able to describe the property that is being searched. If it is a house, if it's a building, if it's a vehicle, you have to be very detailed exactly where it is that you are searching the place. So, for example, you could say it's 1234 Main Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45231, something along those lines, but you have to be very specific when it comes to searching the property that is going to be searched. You also have to describe what it is that you are looking for. So if you are doing a narcotics search warrant, you have to list in the probable cause in the affidavit part of it, which we will get into here in a little bit, what exactly it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for narcotics, if you're looking for scales, if you're looking for electronic equipment, it could be computers, anything that's going to be related to that crime. So with that being said, also in the search warrant, you need to be very specific as to what it is that the crime that is being connected. So once again, if you're looking for a narcotics search warrant, you would list that it's related to 292503 of the Ohio Revised Code, which is drug trafficking. If it's, for example, stolen property, then you might want to list in there 291351 of the Ohio Revised Code as well, which is receiving stolen property. There is different types of search warrants also that I'm not going to get into at this point, which would be for cell phones. In order for an officer to look into a person's cell phone, they have to obtain a search warrant and be able to articulate it, but that is not what I'm going to discuss for this. The affiant, that is the person who writes the search warrant. So they should list in their probable cause, which is the affidavit part of it, is what leads them to believe that the items are going to be at this location. They could use their years of experience in narcotics. They could use their years of experience in law enforcement. They could use that they did a trash pull on a person's house, and whatever they recovered, they found items that would believe that there are narcotics inside the residence. If they did narcotics buys inside the residence, they could include that in the search warrant. That doesn't mean that when they do that, that they have to list all the people's names that they used for an informant if they did buys in that. Also, Criminal Rule 41 states what times that you can serve the search warrant. If it's a daytime search warrant, that's from 0700 hours till 1900 hours or 7 p.m. at night. If you want to serve a search warrant at night after those hours, then you have to have an exception done by the judge, and they have to sign off on it. So that would be the nighttime exception. You could justify that by saying that there's officer safety reasons, or that this is the peak hours, that they're the busiest times for narcotics sales. Also, you have to decide whether it's going to be a non-consensual. That means that you don't have to announce your presence. You don't need to stand at the door and knock on it. But with a non-consensual search warrant, you have to have an audio or video recording of the judge giving you permission to serve the search warrant in that manner. You could also have a knock and announce search warrant. That's where you stand at the front door or wherever it is that you're serving a search warrant, and you're sitting there knocking on the door, and you have to announce your presence. Now, with that being said, there is no set amount of time that you have to wait for the person to answer the door. The courts have ruled that it has to be a reasonable amount of time. So depending on whether it could be a trailer, it could be a two-story, it could be a ranch. So depending on the type of place that you're serving, that's the reasonable amount of time you have to determine before you can serve the search warrant. Also, an anticipatory search warrant could be done. That is where, say, for example, you're working with the post office and you know that there's narcotics inside of a package that to be delivered. You could have an anticipatory search warrant that once the person signs for the package and takes it inside the residence, then you have a valid search warrant. You can go inside the house and serve the search warrant. If the package never got signed for or never went inside the house, then there would be no search warrant at that time. You could not go inside to serve it. You must also leave an inventory of the items that were taken inside or in the search warrant. and you have to give those items or give a list also to the judge, let them know what was taken. You can, and you also have to give a return to the judge. Uh, the search warrant that was actually taken, given a return. You can only look in areas where the items that you were looking for could be. If you were hypothetically looking for stolen tires, you could not look in drawers. If you were going through the drawers or whatever, or you saw something in plain view that led you to another crime, you would have to write an additional search warrant to articulate why you're going to look for that particular items. Now, there are warrantless exceptions to search warrants. I'm not going to get into all those, but this would conclude the process of obtaining a search warrant.